Hello, we are the Reds, a creative duo making our living online so we can create when and where we want. Thanks so much for watching, subscribe for more, and enjoy the video. To get you all caught up to speed, we've been in Florida getting ready to cross over to the Bahamas with our friends on C'est La Vie. We've actually had to pivot a good bit on this project given all of the variables that needed to get done on the boat to get it hurricane ready. So instead of spending 8+ days on the water in the Bahamas, we actually only had 48 hours. But it's totally fine. James and I are used to things changing on us, so we just pivoted and focused mostly on photography. I actually am really keen on photography. I've crapped on it before, I make fun of James. The problem in my experience with photography is you only have one instance to capture an image and then that's it. With video, there's a little bit more leeway, but instead, shooting in the water, I actually like photography more. So we spent those 48 hours primarily shooting photos. I'm very big about being vulnerable about the creative process. Things do not go perfectly for us almost ever. This is part of the process, pivoting. It's important to be okay with pivoting. I've had to learn this lesson for myself. I'm still struggling with it all the time, but it was actually cool mid-trip to stop shooting video and start shooting photos, and now I found a new skill that I'm just really jazzed with. I don't know how good the audio is. We're in the Bahamas. It's nice. It's so great being in the water. Right now I'm really feeling out the camera, shooting with subjects like the models, and figuring out how to make face masks work for me, because that's something that I really struggle with. And I just realized that I was backlit. I'm just playing around with my main camera housing. I have the GoPro up top, and figure out how to make everything work. How to make the mask work, how to make the cameras work. We're shooting today in the Bahamas, and it's good. Just finished my first filming session with Sabine. She is the underwater model extraordinaire, just playing around with the camera, and honestly shooting in the ocean with the camera housing is probably the part that I'm most insecure about through this whole entire video series and just in video making in general, which is hilarious because it's literally the thing that I'm most obsessed about. So not being good at making videos in the ocean is really just it's just not an option. Whenever I get out of the water, I'm always really hungry and my brain is just so mwah, which is why I can't say words. Anyway, Sabine, thank you so much for being patient with me, for directing me. More of that. I'm giving you so much permission just to boss me around and just make me a better person.
A better mermaid.
A better mermaid. Yes. That first shooting session was really tough for me. I had so many doubts. I was questioning everything that I was doing. I was still trying to do more video. During that time is when I switched to photo, and also the underwater housing is extremely buoyant. So I'm using all of my energy to go down, set up a shot, and then my camera is just a big balloon and it's pulling me back up. So shooting with that housing at that point in time was extremely tough. I have since found a solution. I just add 2 pounds to the housing, everything's good, but I was really struggling. Later that day, we pulled up anchor and went to a shipwreck. According to Wikipedia, this shipwreck was the SS Sapona, and it was a concrete-hulled cargo steamer that ran aground in Bimini during a hurricane in 1926. It was initially used as a casino and later for oil storage, and then during World War II, the wreck was used for target practice by the US Army. This was a really really fun spot for me to shoot because the lighting was very, very dynamic and the area itself was just a playground. You could swim through all sorts of little passages. Shipwrecks are really interesting. What's not interesting is tetanus, so I had to be very careful not to cut myself. I think I made James cut himself or something. Maybe it was fire coral, we don't know. I was dealing with a very buoyant housing, so it may or may not have been a little bit stressful. Overall, it was a very fun playground to shoot in. This photo right here is actually my favorite from the Sapona dive because it was actually really tricky to shoot. When you're shooting both below and above the water, you have to expose properly, and that's tough because there's a lot less light underwater because it's underwater, not above where the sun lives. It's darker underneath the surface, so you have to get your ISO into this kind of happy medium. I chose to expose for topside where you have the person as the main focus of the image, but I took the photo into Adobe Lightroom, the classic version. That's where I edit all of these photos, and I just brought up the shadows. James told me once that you can always bring back, nope, you can't always do it. Don't always speak in absolutes. I've seen Star Wars once. You can bring back shadows sometimes, but you can't bring back highlights no times. Did I get it right?
I think you got it.
I think I got it. Day 2 was spent spearfishing. James got this amazing photo of me. It was the best day of my life. James.
Hi.
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank
He's
you.
26. But I wanted you to chat a little bit more about you shooting because spearfishing day, I was just in hunter mode. If we want to cover 48 hours, I need you to talk about what you did.
You didn't shoot, but you caught some dinner.
Spearfishing was amazing. I loved it. It's really fun. Maybe I'll share more stories on that later.
Good job. Oh yeah.
We're gonna switch the shot now. So one of the things I wonder about when shooting underwater is my competency level versus shooting on land. I'm very comfortable on land with the camera in my hand. Underwater, I'm also very comfortable, and I know that I have compositional fundamentals baked into my brain at this point in life. However, I wonder how well I'm able to execute on those fundamentals in this new environment and where I stack up in the big realm of things. My guess is that I'm probably about 40% as effective.
What percentage would you give me?
I would give you, I would say probably about 70. Yeah.
Oh, good.
By the way, Christina just shot photos with sharks. Video coming soon. There's a couple of interesting quirks about shooting underwater. One is that it's an inherently interesting environment. You are underwater in a blue, clear ocean with sea life around you and people with giant fins on. There's a story to be told there. One of the things that we can struggle with as photographers or filmmakers is we go in our backyard and we can't find a story to tell, and we're like, where's the good? Put in the effort and find an environment that will give you a story to tell. Another thing I found very interesting about shooting underwater is it's much more three-dimensional than shooting on land. Whereas when you're on land, you can kind of do this with your subject, right? This is your dance. But when you're underwater, this is your dance. You can go wherever you want. And not only that, the subject can flip upside down. You can be right side out. You can flip upside down with the subject and put the surface on the top of the frame. You can do all sorts of fun things. It's like shooting in space, except you can't breathe. Wait, hold on.
You can't breathe in space either.
That was the joke. Another thing about shooting underwater is it's just like shooting on land, except you are either breathing through a straw or you can't breathe, and your subject is slowly floating away from you. All the things that you probably do on land that are your comforts that allow you to shoot, they're kind of disrupted when you're in the water. It creates a new thing. And you have to constantly be intentional about calming yourself, keeping your mind at peace, slowing your breathing so that you can think clearly and everything stays peaceful and you don't get overwhelmed.
This has been a bit of a pivot from our original video series. I'll just share a quick tidbit about the video series. The video series is still going to happen. It's just not happening right now. But the video series is called On the Water, and it's basically me documenting life on the water, learning about how other people live life on the water and how I can implement that into my creative workflow. I want to say thank you so much to Adobe for helping us in this process. I don't think that I would get into underwater photography if I didn't have this wiggle room. If applications are still open for the Creative Residency Community Fund, I think is what it's called, I will leave it in the description below. Either way, you'll see applications open or applications aren't open. So if you're a creative person and you have a project that you want to work on, I would 10 out of 10 would recommend that, and just recommend Adobe in general. Thank you, Steph and Sabine, for allowing James and I to come on board and really just experiment creatively.
Yes,
you guys
that was
are
amazing.
Fantastic. I can't wait to come back and record a proper episode of On the Water together. Guys, Steph and Sabine are the real deal. If you aren't following them on Instagram, definitely give them a follow. I love what they're doing. 10 out of 10 would recommend Cooper. This is him.
Oh my gosh.
He sheds a lot, but he's a really good dog. I don't know what I'm saying. I appreciate you guys kind of coming along this journey of getting into underwater photography and videography and figuring out like what is it that we want to create a career out of. Obviously we have freelancing and that is going swimmingly, pun intended, but I'm excited to get underwater stuff going swimmingly. So with all of that said, I hope you all have a fantastic day. If you haven't seen our other videos from this trip, I will link them below. Subscribe for more water content. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye!